to the beautiful first reading with Ezekiel and the angel measuring out the water flowing from the temple. This is an image of God's grace, which just continues to well up, and also the sacrament of baptism. And we see, the connection to that with the gospel. Obviously, there's waters here that are for healing, and people are being healed. Or, particularly in this pool, there was the tradition or the kind of story of many people being healed. And so we have our friend here who has been ill for 38 years. It's a long time. But he wants to get into those waters, and he wants to be healed. But when Jesus asks him, do you want to be well? He gives an excuse. He doesn't just say yes. He gives the excuse instead. Sir, I have no one to put me into the pool. And so our Lord extends an exceptional mercy, an extraordinary mercy to him, right? And allowing him to be healed, and then telling him, pick up your mat and walk. See, before we're given grace, we're like this man. We can do nothing. But the waters of baptism give us that divine life. They give us grace, right? That we can live in accord with God. They give us power in union with him. So we aren't just lame, but able to move in his name and by his grace. And so we may think of situations in the past where we've maybe complained, if only I had this or that or this or that. So to consider then in this quarantine that other than maybe a few people who were already in nursing homes or in some situation that had them homebound or in prison and unable to change their situation, and maybe not much has really changed for them in all of this quarantine, for the rest of us, big difference. And this may be a great opportunity. This may have been the exact conditions that you were hoping for, to take that time for some extra reading, some extra prayer, some extra family time, extra time, all that time that we said we didn't have before. Lord, I would do this for you, if I just had more time. And now we have it. And maybe even our situation isn't so good. Maybe the conditions we have now aren't so helpful still for this situation. But regardless, for the majority of us, this is something different. Our lives have been shifted into a different track. And so to look, to find that silver lining, to find God's providence, God's goodness in all of this, and to see what he wants to do. See how he wants to heal us in these days. No more excuses, but to turn to him. Ask for his healing. Now, it continues on that, of course, he gets kind of ridiculed by others for carrying his mat. We should follow the law, but obviously in this situation, our Lord is the one who has told him to pick up his mat. But they come to him and they're asking him, who did this to you, right? How did this happen? And he didn't have an answer at first, right? But then later he's able, after he's in, then if you notice, he's in the temple. He's giving thanks to God. So for us, the same, to give thanks to God when we have a healing. We've been freed from some affliction. We see the Lord working in our life, to give thanks to him, right? We obviously can't come to the church right now. It's open throughout the day, but still to be building our own altars within our own homes, right? Building up that domestic church. But if you notice, he doesn't know. But when Jesus comes and reveals himself to him, and then he knows the answer, guess what he does? He goes back and gives the answer, right? And I thought, this is sort of like a second homily, but how many times that maybe we didn't have the answer that someone had asked of us? Well, we can imitate him. Once we find the answer, go back. Even if we think it might be a hostile situation, right? To still go back and to give the answer. Whether they're going to like it or not, we're giving them the truth. We're giving them the best chance to enter into these healing waters. But my brothers and sisters, our Lord wants to come to us today. He wants us to rise, take up our mat, and to walk in the spiritual life. And so to entrust him with our pains, our sufferings, then ask for healings in that. To ask for a new awakening during this time of our spiritual life, of our encounter with Him.